Okay, next up we have VEEM, ASX code VEE, and they have a market cap of around 85 million. VEEM is a designer and manufacturer of disruptive, high-technology marine propulsion and stabilisation systems for the global luxury motor yacht, fast ferry, commercial workboat and defence industries. A warm welcome back to VEEM Managing Director, Mark Miocevich. Welcome back, Mark.
Thanks, Paul, and welcome everybody. We'd like to talk about VEEM's recent work that we're doing. And if we could just go to a first slide, that would be great. Perhaps beyond that one would be better. That's great. Look, VEEM was commenced in 1968. I was there. I helped dig the foundations as a 9-year-old. And we listed on the ASX at 2016. So we're headquartered in Perth. We've got 14,700 square metres of specially constructed fabrication and manufacturing facilities. And we also have Australia's largest defence accredited non-ferrous foundry. So we have about 200 people working here, a little over, including graduates and apprentices, and we have a worldwide network of agents and subcontractors for our products. So we have highly skilled research and development team in-house, especially in the key product areas. And as we mentioned before, we're specialising in disruptive high-tech marine products. So our revenue generally comes in from propellers, gyro stabilisers, defence manufacturing, and engineering products and services for the mining and industrial sector. So we just move to the next slide. So the recent agreement relates to a propeller. You'll see that in the right-hand side. That is called a Sher design propeller, and you can see it's a very unique, almost a biplane design, which has got the two tips joined, and it's been quite a revolution. And we've recently signed an agreement to partner together to develop these Sher propellers for inboard powered vessels. So VEEM will then exclusively manufacture and sell these Sher propellers worldwide for inboard from approximately 500 millimetres to 5 metre diameter. So the agreement lasts for 17 years or longer if there's additional patent work, and provided VEEM meets minimum requirements for sales of propellers over the first 3 years, and they're not very onerous. And if we don't meet these, then obviously Sher can then make it a non-exclusive agreement, but certainly we're not precluded from continuing to manufacture. And we'll pay Sher a license fee. That'll be based on the sales of these products, and they will obviously be involved in the marketing and the design side of the product. And you'll see Greg Sher, my brother Brad. Greg is on the left, my brother Brad is on the right. And what we're doing to progress this project, now that we've signed the agreement and manufactured the display propellers, is that Sher will develop designs quickly for our test vessel. We have a boat behind me is a 64-foot Viking with nearly 5,000 horsepower. So we can really test these thoroughly. And what we're doing is looking at verifying the claims that have been made by Sher. They've done testing, back-to-back testing with our own product, and they've compared it to our product, so on a 65-foot vessel. So it looks very promising, and we've seen significant fuel consumption reductions, but we want to make sure that we can verify that on our vessel in a controlled environment with the correct authorities witnessing that, so we can use that for our marketing. So we go to the next slide. So the Sher propeller, as you can see, is radically different, and it's the biggest advancement certainly we've seen in propellers, and Sher propellers are saying since 1830. Certainly we've never heard of any large advancement in the last 100 years. So and this design, this need came about because Greg was involved in the music industry, and he was recording outdoor classical music concerts, and the drones were very noisy. So very clever man, thought outside the 9 dots, developed this new concept so that he could basically make the drones operate very quietly so they could record these concerts. So he then started looking at other areas that could use that technology, and of course the marine industry is ripe for development. So he moved into the marine side. So he solved this most basic problem of any sort of rotary propulsion. It's the tip cavitation and the tip vortices that have been eliminated or significantly reduced. And that gives an incredible performance gain over traditional propellers. And if you look at the wing, at the window of your plane at the wing, you'll see all the new planes have got at the end of the wing, there's a tip or a tiplet. And that is attempting to do a similar sort of thing in the air. So the award-winning Sher propeller design has made a significant impact on the outboard motor market with improvements to fuel efficiency, and they've recorded improvements up to 25%, but certainly significant across the range. Noise reductions, which I was very surprised to see, some examples of 110 dB falling to 90 dB, which are massive noise reductions, and vibration smoothness has improved, obviously, because you're not getting the disturbance of the tip vortices. And so we're now taking this technology and looking at the larger inboard propellers, so inboard boats from sort of 10 metres upwards. So the Sher patents protect these designs, and they've got over 100 individual patents, preventing them from being copied by others. And we've combined it with our own technology, and you'll see in the photo there's blue, what looks like plastic strips, and that's the VEEM patented interceptor strips, which enable us to tune the propeller pitch. We can change the height of that strip above the surface and change the effective pitch, which means we can tune them underwater. And the combination of those technologies is what we're going to be putting forward. So giving us an exclusive worldwide license gives us the confidence to develop and invest in this process and methods, with the expectation there'll be a very strong market for the Sher VEEM product. If we move on to the next slide. So why did they choose us? They did search very broadly to see who could manufacture the larger sizes of propellers. But VEEM's in a very unique position because we are still the only commercial manufacturer of volume of high precision, fully computer control machined propellers. So every square millimeter of our propellers is computer control machined. So our processes were already largely in place for the Sher product. So they looked extensively and kept coming back to VEEM as being the likely candidate. And to give you some idea, that meter diameter propeller you can see there, that was our first prototype, and it's produced in 3 weeks. So we can produce these very, very quickly with minimum modification to our current processes. So the other advantage we have is we're already selling to most of the high performance boat builders or major boat builders around the world with our key product in North America, in England, and in Europe. So again, our distribution network is very strong. Move to the next slide. So where will these be made? Well, we have a facility here in Western Australia where we're manufacturing 450 to 500 propellers a month, all fully CNC machined in a highly automated machining facility, which operates around the clock, lights off in the machining area. So we expect that the people will actually, we believe many of our customers will essentially transition to the VEEM Sher from our VEEM product, and that enables us to commence manufacturing early in the new year. So if the adoption rate follows the same pattern as the Sher outboard propellers, then we expect that we'll need to be building increased capacity over the next few years. So an expansion plan would likely involve a new manufacturing facility being built or acquired, with the main cost being CNC equipment, robots, laser-guided forklifts, furnaces, and other foundry equipment. And this was an area that we were looking at in any event, because we're starting to come to full capacity at the facility we're in. So there's this is not a change to our plans, it's a change of the product coming out of that next facility. And we have the option of outsourcing some of the early stages of the casting process to suitable people to help us get through the early stages of production while we set up these last little bits of equipment that we might need. So funding of all the above will be decided at the time that we expand, and we'll work it out the options at that time. But we simply do commercial HPs on the Capex, and we believe that we can certainly expand within our normal capacity without having to go back to the markets at this stage. So on the next slide, if we could have that. So target market and pricing. Wow, this is very interesting. So the target market is propellers below 5 meters in diameter, which is our maximum capacity. The main volumes are in the 10 meter to 30 meter range, where there are premium production yacht manufacturers who we believe will embrace this significantly better product. So commercial operators are expected to adopt this, and this is probably very interesting to us because of the financial benefits of having a reduced fuel consumption. Some of these workboats can use up to $2 million worth of fuel a year, that we can reduce that by, in the test that Sher have chosen, it was 8 to 12% over our finest product, which is the best in the world. So it's a significant reduction. And we believe there's a lot of existing fleets which will look at changing propellers over with a very short few months payback to reduce not only their fuel consumption, but also their carbon footprint. So overall, the market is around 100,000 vessels. If you include the existing fleet, at around 2.6 billion. And we need to consider that as all available to us. And there's also a new boat market of about 15,000 vessels worth about 338 million per annum. So the Sher by VEEM will cost more to make, both in materials and manufacturing time, and we'll be selling at a premium, and there's a license fee to pay to Sher. But we believe that we're very well placed to produce these with a economical production process, so not a huge premium to cost. So we believe the adoption rate will be very high. As we've seen in the outboard motor market, you can try and order a Sher, but there's a waiting list. So they've really embraced it. So if you go to the next. So what's next for us? We expect that we'll be coming back to the investment community and updating them after we have done our performance testing, and we'll be looking to produce things like the fuel savings, also looking at noise and vibration reductions, and that will give us a better understanding of where this product's going to take us. So we expect then that that's all going as we expect. The first Sher by VEEM products expect to be available for purchase early 2024. So we expect the full range of Sher by VEEM propellers to be rolled out by the end of 24 financial year. And we do think that there's going to be a development of a series of propellers, and we believe there may possibly be a high-speed version, a workboat version, and perhaps a super yacht version. So this will all be developed, and we'll be providing input to Sher to system to do that. So a very exciting time for VEEM to give us this opportunity, which is global and exclusive on some really exciting technology. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Mark. Well, firstly, big congratulations to yourself and the team at VEEM for managing to secure that Sher contract. It's obviously a game changer, and it's great to see that what's been a tough time for markets, Mark, investors have got on board and realised the value this deal's going to bring to the company. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, I've got a few questions for you. First one here, how much more complicated is it to manufacture the Sher propellers, and what is the Capex required over the next 12 months to ramp up production?
Okay, it's for VEEM, it is not particularly more difficult to manufacture. So there are some small changes in the casting process, but the machining process is just different programs. And this is what probably made VEEM so appropriate for this particular development, is that for us, it's a small step up and forward. For nearly every other manufacturer globally, it is a massive transformation from what is basically a hand-profiled product in most cases to a fully computer-controlled machine process. So it's a massive change. So for us, though, it's simple. So on the terms of Capex, here's some idea. If we were to set up a factory to manufacture this, we would expect to be able to produce 200 to 250 propellers a month, probably from the order of $5 to $7 million Capex. And that's not a particularly difficult thing for us to do. It is reasonably capital intensive, of course, but the machinery lasts a very long time. And we found that the production of these propellers just continues to be a day in, day out manufacturing model. It becomes very routine.
Gotcha. And how much of a premium will the Sher propellers be sold for, and how will the license fee impact on margins?
That's a very good question. At the moment in America, there's a $1,000 outboard propeller, traditional one, is a $5,000 Sher propeller. So it's about 5 times the price. So we certainly won't be up around that level. but we think that propeller will be a multiple of our current price. So we believe that it will take longer and is more complex to make, but I also believe that the advantages it brings to our customers is so significant that the premium is certainly worthwhile, and the payback for them will be, certainly for workboats, will be measured in months. So that's a pretty exciting thing, certainly exciting development for them. So I think there's perhaps the margins for us will certainly increase, and I think what we're able to do is perhaps capitalize with our margins on the fact that we've spent 20 years perfecting manufacturing techniques that enable a company to manufacture such a complex design as the Sharrow is.
Yeah. And with the cost savings that can be expected from using these propellers, the likely payback, you said, were months for both boat owners?
Yeah, part of our calculation is going to be working out the cost saving per hour operation of various size vessels. As you can imagine, that if you're using it 3,000 hours a year like a ferry, there's a massive saving. The payback might only be a few months. If it's a pleasure boat, then obviously you only do a few hundred hours a year, then the payback is probably forever. But you've got to understand that if you can drop your sound levels on your vessel by more than half, then for a luxury vessel, it's a bit of a game changer. It's one of the big obstacles they have when they're motoring is the propeller provides quite a lot of noise and vibration. The big thing for defence vessels is the signature of a propeller is what generally defines the vessel. So if you can significantly reduce the signature of that vessel, then that's a real game changer for defence. So there's a lot of advantages, not just in carbon footprint and cost savings and in noise and vibration. So they're all very serious changes to the propulsion market.
Gotcha. And look, will expansion see production move offshore or stay in Australia? And if it is going offshore, what would that expansion look like?
But this is only our opinion, but if this takes off as it does, there will be plants all over the world. But the next plant, which we've spoken to investors about previously, we were a few months ago, in fact, we were looking very favourable to have the next plant in perhaps ex-Eastern Bloc Europe, where we're close to the market. As you can imagine, air freight, is currently 15% of the value of our product. There's lower labour, lower rental. There's also tax incentives to move there. But this is very different. We need to consider that when you're perfecting a new product like this, having it in your shadow is very important. So that's what the board is considering at the moment, that there may be a strong argument to have the next plant in Western Australia. But alternatively, there's a lot of pressure from Sharrow to look at putting one in the US. They're from Detroit, Michigan, and they're very keen to see that there. And it's really perhaps the order in which seems most sensible.
Gotcha. And just to finish up, how are you going to drive worldwide sales? Will a new sales network need to be sort of set up?
Yeah, we are going to set up something new. Sharrow have recommended how they'd like to see that network, and we actually concur with that. We have got a wide distribution network through distributors and agents currently, and all of those people will be invited to become an agent of Sharrow going forward, the VEEM Sharrow. So it'll be a little different model to what we currently use, but we'll be springboarding from the existing network we have.
Mark, an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on today, and you have a great weekend.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.